Yes. This is the Movie Matchmaker Podcast, Episode 2. I am your movie matchmaker and host, Jalen Williams. Controlling the mics, the better half, the yin to my yang, or Jung. It's Jackie.
Hey, guys.
You gonna applaud yourself?
Absolutely.
I didn't get an applause. Okay. Well, let's just get right into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest on the Movie Matchmaker Podcast is another former coworker who I instantly bonded with when we tried to figure out who was blinder and realized that neither of us could read the paper that was right in front of us without our glasses on. He is the final third of the gaming trio that I've spent an ungodly amount of time with. Certified meme god, a music snob, a movie snob, and has longer locks of hair than Lord Farquaad. He's the international man of intrigue, the zany, the loony, Ron Alfaro. Give it up, everybody.
Thank you. Though I thought the loony title was yours.
No. It's on wax now, so it's on the record, so everybody knows it's
Records
yours.
can get scratched, man. Just saying.
This man is always dropping bars. How you doing today?
Not bad. Sunday, not too cold.
Super Bowl Sunday.
It is Super Bowl. Oh, I'm not joking. I thought that would explain the smoke.
That's why I asked you about the traffic.
Oh,
because it's Super Bowl Sunday.
I told you, man. Every time when I hear about the Super Bowl, it's always like it happened or it's happening, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it starts today at 3, so good luck getting home. But we'll try to have you out here before then. Obviously.
Congratulations.
All right, so with all my guests, you being the second one, I like to start with a segment that I previously called Movie Horoscopes that I'm now calling Movie Dates. And movie dates are essentially a collection of movies and or famous movie-related celebrities that have appeared near or on your birthday. So I thought we could go through a few of these. There's quite a lot because you were born in July. So the first one I got here, a day after your birthday, because you were born on a Thursday, believe it or not.
I do believe it. Thanks.
Was True Lies. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis. Have you seen it?
I have.
Isn't that movie excellent?
It's really good.
I really love it. That's another one of my family. I talk about that a lot, but this is definitely one of my family's movies where it's like I've seen it so much to the point where I'm just like I know everything that's happening. So
I have a specific memory with that movie. Actually, now to think about it, it's crazy.
Do tell.
No, just early childhood. It wasn't, of course, it wasn't that when it was released. I remember watching that movie on TV and the scene with Jamie Lee Curtis, being sexy. And my parents were like, "Nope," and they just put the hands over my eyes just to make sure I wasn't watching, but I could still see everything.
Yeah, you know what? That's crazy because now that I think about it, Jamie Lee Curtis, at least for you and I, or maybe people around our age, she wasn't like in her early career, she was a sex symbol, like for the Halloween franchise, and then to see her in like this motherly role and then doing like this stripper show was so odd to me because I was like, this isn't hot, right? But then I see it now and I'm like, oh my God, Jamie Lee Curtis. That's really interesting to me. So, and Jamie Lee Curtis is still like one of my favorite people to see on screen.
She's fun.
She is fun. Next, 1995, Age 1. This is Jackie's favorite movie, believe it or not. A movie from her childhood, Indian in the Cupboard. You ever heard of it?
I have not. I'm sorry, Jack.
It hasn't really aged that well.
No one's seen it.
Story back then when it was okay to say the word Indian.
Native American in the Cupboard, perhaps.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain what it's about at all?
It's about a little boy, and basically his little toys come alive due to this magic cupboard.
Oh, wait.
And it's a little cowboy and a little Native American.
What else was in there besides the Native American and the cowboy? I think there was something else in there, right? Like
his horse. I know his horse.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Didn't he have like a family, the Native American?
He woke up like, where is my family? He woke up after this war. Like, what the hell's going on?
I had never seen this movie until Jackie introduced it to me, and I'm just watching it the entire time. Like, there's some kids movies you have to watch with a level of like disbelief, and
right.
I just don't have that. Not nowadays. So it's just like when I was watching it, just something about it was off. It felt.
It was 95, by the way.
I said 95.
Okay, I just want to. Sorry, I was googling it.
Great job, fact checker.
My Googles are behind.
You're doing great.
She's doing 20 things back there, man. Come on.
20?
20.
Relax.
Each button is a thing.
Okay, so then we move on to 1998, another day after your birthday. You were 4 years old. There's Something About Mary. You ever seen that?
I have not.
Oh, my goodness. Ben Stiller, Cameron Diaz, Matt Dillon.
My movie history is very patchy, to be frank.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're so in the know with the way that you talk about movies. So it's very...
Well, guess where the snobby part comes in.
Oh, you just give an air of confidence,
Right.
so that you,
Fake it till you make it.
so you don't get outed. That's pretty smart, to be honest. Because I thought, because you we'll get to the questions later, of course, but you rated your movie knowledge out of 5, and I was just like, that's surprising to me, because it feels like you know a lot, but maybe you just know a lot of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I tend to know like with the bigger ones. I do try to catch up with, just go back there. But anything that was culturally significant in the States while I was not here was probably not something that I'm familiar with. Like, I know that controversially, like Toy Story, like a lot of people love Toy Story, but that was not my childhood of like toys. So I never really cared a lot for it, type of thing. Like, so.
But you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Okay.
It took a while for me to see it, but I didn't watch it when I was at the age that I should have watched it, so to say.
Right.
At the prime age for that type of movie.
No, I get that. I think that's kind of Sav's story too, low key, because she, when she was on here, I had asked her what's the best movie she had never seen, and then she said The Lion King, and you've seen it and you think it's mid, but obviously.
No, it's good, but I do think it's overhyped, I guess. Like, it's a great movie. It's a great film. But is it like the best animated film? Yeah, you can make an argument for it, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think. Now with like the release of like Spider-Man and stuff like that, being the best animated film is kind of a stretch. But the best in the '90s Disney run, the best in the '90s Disney run would probably be it. I think,
and I still think it's like, again, one of the better movies of that kind.
Yeah,
regardless of my opinion of like where I personally put it, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it was a little too simple. I don't know, but again, it's a kids movie. So what?
I think it's also based on like a Shakespeare play or something.
Hamlet, if I recall.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Basically, it's like that.
I've never even seen Hamlet, but I'm pretty sure I know what the story is now.
It's one of the Hamlets, the other one.
It was if you're also not familiar with, this is also a fun fact that I think kind of just like circles it back for me sometimes. The score for Lion King was done by Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer, yeah.
That's crazy, right?
That's insane.
Yeah.
That explains it. Why
it's really good.
Why it's so good.
Like that music gets me every time, and it just makes so much sense because like throughout like the movies that I've ever watched, most of them have been done by Hans Zimmer. Whether that's coincidence or maybe he's just working a lot, it's one thing, but a lot of my favorite movies has some of his scores in it. So, anywho, 2000, age 6. Guess what released? Oh, did you read it? Did you read it already on my notepad? Well, guess what released on your birthday at age 6? It's a Marvel property.
Spawn.
That's not.
Or Blade. Which one released in the 90s? I forget.
I think that's Spawn. But it's X-Men. The first X-Men released on
really?
your birthday. Yeah. The first X-Men,
99?
July
Wait,
14th.
6. Oh, okay. Yeah.
July 14th, 2000. I was very surprised to know that. But, I mean, once again, your birthday's in the summer, so you're going to get a lot of bangers.
Yeah, I do.
And then 2001, I might as well just go through this whole list. This entire list, I got like 2 pages almost of.
I appreciate the work.
No, I mean, I was just like, bro, like it's an extensive list, you know. But 2001, Legally Blonde, Reese Witherspoon, you a big fan? Luke Wilson?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think you've seen it.
No.
Oh man, you know what would be funny if American Gangster came out around your birthday? That'd be hilarious.
Why would that be hilarious?
Because you haven't seen it.
I've seen the movie.
Tell me what happens in the end. Tell me one part that isn't
We
the
are
Idris
not
Elba.
going to spoil the movie for the people here, Jalen.
I should have made you watch that, to be honest, because it's really long past due, to be honest.
I'll be glad to rewatch it.
Anywho, also in 2001, this was 7-Eleven, but I thought this would be interesting just because you're a big video game guy. Final Fantasy, the movie. 7-Eleven, 2001. You ever seen it?
I have.
Really?
Yeah, not when it came out, though. Just years later in high school. But yeah, I watched it.
You love it? You hate it? What would you rate it?
I don't remember the movie.
No.
I know I watched it. It was so forgettable. It was like, it's not even Final Fantasy.
It's not.
It's not.
I had no idea.
It doesn't touch any of like the actual tenets of like what makes a Final Fantasy property.
Kind of like Dragon Ball.
Basically.
That's funny. Okay, so then we fast forward to 2005, July 15th. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
And The Wedding Crashers.
Wow.
Must be nice to be born in the summer, huh?
2 more movies I haven't seen.
Wow. Wait, whoa. Oh, hey, you've seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, yes?
Like the
original?
The original, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know, listen.
Another one, like I feel like you have to grow up with it to like really love it.
I'm just saying that like or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Just in general, yeah, that movie.
Because I mean, that definitely came out. What was I? I'm struggling with math. 12, perhaps. I think 12 when this came out, and I don't know. I just didn't like Johnny Depp's white teeth and like his bob.
It's not a hot take. A lot of people didn't really like that one.
I should rewatch it because people are saying that it's kind of slept on. Kind of like if we could equate this to like the Spider-Man movies, he's like Andrew Garfield for sure. Because the new one is good.
Okay.
You don't agree?
I don't understand the comparison.
Well, because Gene Wilder is Tobey Maguire, the original.
Okay.
Possibly the best in some people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Johnny Depp, who's more the one that people hated, a la Andrew Garfield. People didn't really like that one. I liked it personally.
Tom Holland is Timothy Chalamet.
And Tom Holland is Timothy Chalamet. Timotei.
Timotei.
I mean, if you've seen it.
It's really good. It's really good. If you've seen Paddington, it's directed by the same people. So if you've seen Paddington, you'll love this one for sure.
I have not seen Paddington. I know I hear like great things about it. I'll probably watch it someday, but I'm not I don't seek. And again, I might be wrong. I haven't seen it, but I don't seek movies that make you sad.
What? Paddington? I mean, maybe it's a happy sad thing.
Okay.
Like Stuart Little.
Or the Rocky franchise.
Yeah. No, I see. No, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but yeah, Johnny Depp is. I'm going to rewatch it because I haven't actually seen it fully. But every time I do look at it, something about it just can't bring me to it. So, but I'll rewatch it. I'm not really a big fan of Johnny Depp to begin with.
Because I guess where I was confused is because I feel like with comparing the movies to the Spider-Man franchises, like I feel like people love Garfield as a performer, while they hated Johnny Depp for his performance. You know.
Well, I'm just saying because it kind of falls in line with like chronologically how it was done, and then it also falls in line with
No, I see where you're coming from. You're
Yeah.
saying why I was a little confused earlier, but yeah, okay.
Johnny
Makes
Depp's not
sense.
my favorite, so maybe that's why. Anywho, next, 2006, July 14th, age 12. This first movie is a movie I haven't seen, You, Me, and Dupree, which has Owen Wilson in it. And this is kind of like this is a black favorite. A black favorite? That sounds wrong.
Bleep that out.
don't bleep me. It's a favorite within the black community. Little Man.
I have seen that movie
Really?
multiple times.
You love it?
No.
Laugh Riot? Yeah, I'm not a fan.
The only reason why I watched it is because it was like one of the handful of DVDs that we had
I've also seen this.
when I didn't have any internet, and I played all my games. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is the. We'll rewatch Little Man once again.
It couldn't be funny a third time, I'm sure.
No, it was not.
So then I thought this was interesting because of your loathing for this particular franchise. July 15th, 09, age 15, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to get heat
You don't like Harry
for
Potter?
this.
Clear it up.
Well, to be frank, it's mostly directed at the author, right? That's really where it comes from.
Absolutely.
I've never read the books, so I don't. I can't really speak on them. I think for me the actual dislike, I would say, not loathing, of the franchise is mostly just from people that had tried to get me into it. Because I did try actually get into it. But the more I learned about it, the more insufferable it became. And the more insufferable, like, the people who were trying to get me into it became. I was like, I'm all right. I don't need to get into this whole thing. I actually watched the movies recently, like in order. And I still don't understand half of that stuff.
No, I agree.
I'm like,
I mean,
what is this? But the Half-Blood. Oh wait, no, actually no. Which one was directed by Alfonso Cuarón? The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
That's
my favorite.
That's the only one that I really enjoyed.
I mean,
really good. It's the best one.
Is that the third one or the
The
second one?
third.
Because the second was Chamber of Secrets. I don't even remember
Sorcerer's
Chamber of
Chamber of
Secrets.
Secrets is just so forgettable. Sorcerer's Stone is like a decent introduction.
Yeah.
I think the Half-Blood Prince is like the one that I really disliked the most.
That's the one with Dumbledore died, right?
I think so, with the whole Severus, whatever.
Yeah, and Snape was the
And
Half-Blood Prince.
I was like, I don't remember the details. I remember just being annoyed at it. I was like, what are you talking about, man?
If you my three favorites would probably be Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire,
Yeah.
and then either Sorcerer's Stone or Half-Blood Prince.
Everybody loves Goblet of Fire.
Goblet of
You
Fire
probably
was,
got to come in a little closer.
Oh, it's just everyone loves that one.
Yeah,
Goblet of Fire.
yeah, Goblet of Fire was like there was actually somebody actually died.
yeah.
Like there was an actual consequence.
Yeah,
Like wow,
yeah.
they did something.
Yeah, because what's so funny about interesting about the Harry Potter franchise is that I had only seen, which one? Sorcerer's Stone. But then, like, when the Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out, I went to go see it, like a midnight premiere, and didn't understand a thing. That was
Big
happening.
mistake.
Did it make sense?
I said,
Big
Oh,
mistake.
That's what happened when we saw the last Star Wars movie. And I was like, we got out of the movie theater, and I was like, wow, that's the first Star Wars movie I've ever seen. And he was like, what are you talking about right now?
and that's why we have to watch every prequel before we see a movie now.
Yeah.
Did you like that one? The
Yeah, I thought it was. I didn't
Rise of
understand
Skywalker?
anything. I was just like, oh, this is a great.
Now that you've
Mission.
seen all of them, do you like that one now? Do you prefer that?
I think the third one's my favorite.
Of the newest ones or the prequel?
I don't know.
Or the sequel. Or the
The order that they
original.
are made in is just so confusing.
So are you saying the third, meaning episode 3, which is the Revenge of the Sith?
Yes, Revenge
Yeah.
of the Sith.
Revenge of the
Yeah.
Sith. Okay. Yeah.
That's a solid pick.
I mean,
I'm a
it's-
Rogue One man.
It's not a. Oh man, that.
It's like a spinoff though.
It's a part of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I would
it's
say.
a part of Star Wars. It's technically what before
It's in that.
the original first movie.
It's not my
I
favorite, but
actually
still.
I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. There's so many plot holes in that.
Rogue One or
Yeah. I think
Enjoy the ride,
once I did once they got to that planet, basically, once they stopped all the crap about the alien, like brainwashing the dude and suddenly not being brainwashed, it's like, what was the point of all of that? Like, what were we doing half of the movie? Okay, now we're here, the planet, doing the road one thing, thankfully, and then of course that Darth Vader scene at the end was great, but you could delete the first half of the movie and I'll be fine with it. It was.
I'll have to rewatch it because I really loved it. I just love that it
like
was
Saw Gerrera. Like what a way to waste Forrest Whitaker. Like they could have made him do kung fu on the rooftop, like they did that one movie too.
Yeah, that's agreeable.
What really hurt me the most was how they wasted Donnie Yen. Like they did made him do some stuff at some point, but like that man literally has kicked people in the head for stunts. Like he will take those hits too. Mm-hmm. Like he's an actual martial artist. I was so excited for this movie, and then they barely used him.
But is Star Wars really like the place where you really be seeing martial arts? To be honest,
Revenge of the Sith.
Was there really? There was no martial arts.
I mean, it's fantasy wizards martial arts. I mean, you could
it was like one kick.
You had a guy who can actually do the stuff, right? Probably even better than those movies, and they did pretty great job with the lightsaber fights. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, you had Donnie Yen. I was like, oh, we already had a great showing with the prequels lightsaber fights. Now we have a dude who can actually do it, or probably do it really well, and he's just wandering around.
Maybe they wanted to make it less about Jedis and the Sith,
right?
Because I love that it's just about the everyman almost looking to fight against the bourgeoisie.
I have a hot take. Maybe it cost extra to get him to do that, and they weren't trying to pay it.
But Donnie Yen's very like a scrappy type of dude. Like he would do movies and just do whatever they need to get that movie out.
He's the blind guy in John Wick 4. If you're trying to figure out who.
But yeah, no, and again, like, don't get me wrong. I'm just giving an example of the lightsaber fights earlier. Just as like there is some sort of martial arts that you can draw upon. Like I didn't need Donnie Yen to actually be swinging around a lightsaber, but you still use him a bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it just felt like such a tragedy, which I really like, because it feels like in most Star Wars movies there's a silver lining, or I mean, I guess in this one there's kind of a silver lining at the end, but like it just shows that like a lot of Star Wars movies don't really show the war itself.
Right.
And this shows
actual consequences.
Yeah, this shows space war essentially.
Right.
So
and that's why I don't discount. I guess a hyperbolic statement to make. I don't like Rogue One. I just don't like the beginning of Rogue One, I guess. But the second half is it's great. I
fell asleep. I mean, to be honest, the first time I watched it, I fell asleep, and then I tried to rewatch.
I should have done that.
I said, "Whoa!" All right. Thanks for that little tangent. That's going to be great content.
You still on the movies? The movie, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why?
If we're still talking about his birthday, if Ron's born 7/11, that's
no, he's not.
Okay. You said 7/11 multiple times.
I said around.
Oh.
Around the birthday.
He clarified.
I did clarify.
My bad. Hold on.
The producer, the person who's in charge of listening, is not listening.
I'm Googling. I have to learn to multitask.
No, I said that at the beginning. At the very beginning.
Your brain is cut in half.
Yeah. Multitasking.
You can 1 and 2.
So then we have 2010. Jumping timeline, or not timelines, but I guess a year, because that last one was 2009. So never mind. Anywho, age 16. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite movie of all time. Inception. Obviously, you've seen it. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you to walk on this podcast and tell me you haven't seen that movie.
No, of course I've seen it. I was excited for the trailers, and like everybody else, like the big sound. I mean, Hans Zimmer has always been respected, I feel, but I think this is what made him to like the mainstream. Like everybody's like, oh yeah,
people are still using that horn noise in trailers today.
It's almost like a joke.
Yeah,
like
it is.
It comes full circles. Like it was not full circle, I guess, but. Like it just reversed. Like it used to be like,
it's a
so
trend now. It's like
badass.
It's out
Now
of
it's like
it.
it's kind of like a meme about it.
Yeah, Inception, man. I can't say enough about this movie. I didn't see this in theater, and I hope that
I did.
Wow, really?
Eat it.
What IMAX maybe?
No, it was before like IMAX was like
Popping.
yeah, and it was like they had it, but it was way too expensive, especially for like a high schooler to go out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I just went to watch the regular theater, but it was still a theater, big screen.
No, for sure. Because I actually saw this movie at a friend's house, and I remember just watching this movie and being like, whoa, like this really like opened my eyes to what movies can be. I mean, I have seen other movies that have blown my mind before, but this one felt so realistic for some reason. It didn't feel like there wasn't, but it just felt like everything was so practical. And then like I'm hooked like to the very end, and then he spins the top and it just cuts to black. I watched it again right after that so I could see if it fell.
Wow. Big fan.
It's probably my favorite movie of all time. Like that's not an exaggeration. I love that movie so much. Like I could watch it any day of the week and still be enthralled with like the use of slow motion and the plot all together. And man, it's just,
I think they just did a good job at like building the world itself and at least trying to explain it, at least mostly in like easily digestible ways of the reason why things are happening, and not just they happen just because. Like they take their time to make sure to explain the rules, and a lot of times it's very difficult to do that without making it sound obvious. Like, oh, this is the thing you gotta understand, but they did it in a way that with what was it? There was a character that they had that was new that they were explaining, what they were doing each step of the way, and that's
absolutely
basically explaining that to the audience, which is it's pretty basic, but to do it was kind of a heady concept.
Yeah,
people to just grasp. I think that's basically where the success comes from.
And there's definitely a lot of people who see Inception. People in my family who just like won't watch it because it's just like it's too complicated. But it's like I get it. It kind of is, but it's not like Christopher Nolan's most complicated movie.
It's not Tenet.
It's not Tenet. Well, I think with complication Tenet is like you don't hear anybody. So
yeah. And I speaking of Tenet, like he was recently, I was on Twitter recently, or X. Yeah. And he was saying like, you're not supposed to get all of it. You're supposed to feel it. But I mean,
I'm not hearing that.
And I get it. I get that. Because even in the movie, because like I remember watching all these trailers, and this was like during the pandemic, and I'm just like, I don't get it, but I'm going to go see it. And then that scene finally comes up where he's picking up the bullet in reverse, and then that scientist lady goes, don't try to understand it, just feel it. I said, God damn it! Like I'm trying to understand, but and it's still one of my favorite movies to watch, even if it is like slightly confusing. I love Christopher Nolan.
I just feel like they didn't. They kind of went too wishy-washy. Like, let's make it kind of like Inception, where we're gonna explain some of it, but also we're not gonna explain some of it. It's just like either do one or the other. Either make it super surreal and whatnot, or make it realistic.
Yeah.
Inception had 8 Oscar noms and 4 wins that year.
Should have won all of them.
Yeah.
It should have. Honestly, it's.
I'm saying that without knowing what the other nominees were.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's such an excellent movie.
Where was Leo's Oscar there? Not even nominated.
It's an action movie, so
yeah.
He should have won for Wolf of Wall Street, not The Revenant. So
yeah, I haven't seen Revenant.
It's a good movie, but it's like this is it. This is his performance. I mean they owed him obviously. So
The Departed. That's where he should have won.
Departed. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so then we move on to 2011, 7/15, age 17 at this point. And I guess we already kind of discussed Harry Potter, so we can kind of move on from it. But Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Didn't see it.
It's not that good. I didn't enjoy it.
Well, I didn't see it then. Rather, because I just said I watched all the movies. I have seen it now.
Okay, so then we move on to 2017. This actually, two movies actually released on your birthday. War for the Planet of the Apes, and The Big Sick with Kumail Nanjiani. You've seen The Big Sick, so don't nod your head. Jesus.
I have not seen The Big Sick.
The Big Sick is about Kumail Nanjiani. It's basically a story about how he met his wife.
Sounds like Jack has an opinion on that. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Enlighten me.
This one wasn't my favorite. I don't know. He's so hit or miss with me.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes he's corny. Sometimes I get it.
Sometimes his voice is kind of irritating to me. Just a little bit. But like, it just is. I'm like, he's got like a, kind of voice. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And don't make this about his race. It's not about his race. It's just his voice is very squeaky.
I didn't
beep him.
say anything.
Beep him. Because like he was in that movie Migration, that duck movie we watched, and like knowing that was his voice kind of took me out of it sometimes. So
like he's not a dog.
Yeah. What is he doing acting like a duck? He's not a duck. But War for the Planet of the Apes.
I have seen that movie. I didn't watch it in theaters, but I remember back in the big days of Redbox.
Oh my goodness! They still have a Redbox at the Smiths I go to.
Yeah, they're still around, but yeah, that's how we watched it. But I enjoyed that movie. I actually was surprised by it. I thought it was just a dumb monkey movie, and then ended up being a pretty good movie. I was surprised. I was just kind of turned off by James Franco, mostly because I don't know, the whole Seth Rogen type of like comedies. There's some good movies in there, but
is
most
James
of it is
Franco
just kind
in this one?
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
I don't think that's the original.
Wait.
I think the original
Rise
is
of well, I don't mean like the old one, but like the first.
No. Yeah, I don't think that one's that one. I think the War for the Planet of the Apes is the one where Caesar is like king.
It's the war. Okay, yeah, it's the Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Okay, then yeah.
Because there's one because I can't remember how the original one is officially titled, but it's like Start of the Planet of the Apes or Genesis of the Planet of the Apes. Something that means.
I thought it was just the Planet of the Apes.
It might be, and then the second one is the Rise, and then 3 is the War.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, we're confusing each other. Like I don't like the remakes that recently been coming out. It's the I think it's the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and the War of the Planet of the Apes, or something like that.
Yeah, it is the Dawn. You're right. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. What'd you say?
I'm just getting ones from like the 60s. I didn't even know they had those.
You gotta come to the mic.
I didn't know they had ones from the 60s.
Oh, yeah, that's where the famous.
Yeah, that's where. Damn you all to hell!
And it's like you didn't know he was in New York or something.
Okay, so it is Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
It's Rise.
And then Dawn of
the
Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
War for the Planet of the
Apes. Okay, so we got a mix. It's Rise, Dawn, War. Okay.
Is War the one with Gary Oldman in it? Because I think that's the one that's really good. Because he's like, I think he's like a villain or something like that.
I think so. Because I think the second one is where with the dude that.
Him on my side, so.
No, okay. Because I know that one of the movies was he played John Connor in like one of the latest Terminator movies.
Really?
Yeah.
And
he was a bad human guy.
I haven't seen any of the Terminator, so I'm gonna gloss over that. You haven't seen it either. Womp yourself.
I'm not the movie guru.
Wait, oh,
I'm not a guru.
I'm not the movie matchmaker.
That doesn't mean what.
You have to watch every movie in
that
existence.
ever existed ever.
But my goal is to match people to great movies, and most people have seen
Terminator and Terminator 2 are great movies.
I didn't say they weren't. I didn't say they weren't. I didn't say they weren't. I have them on DVD, and I will watch them. Oh God! Don't scold me.
Wow, he got angry. You hear that?
So then I looked up some celebrities because Jackie thought it'd be a good idea to do that.
Great idea.
And this list is pretty slim, so no one of note really. But I thought I'd just go through the 3 that I thought that you might know. So one, who's not even really a movie guy, Conor McGregor. How do you feel?
McGregor?
Yeah.
The notorious MMA?
Yeah. He's you share the same birthday. Congrats.
Man, we definitely look just exactly like.
I see it.
Ladies, hit them up.
Totes.
Maybe you can drop your socials or your phone number after this. They can hit you up.
Yeah, put them in the description.
I will do that. Thank you. I have his permission. It's recorded. It's on wax. It's on the record. Next is Jane Lynch. Are you familiar with Jane Lynch? She's from
No
Glee.
idea.
She's the.
I'm sure Sav would know.
Oh yeah, she probably.
I'm sure she would know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the
her.
host on the Weakest Link, the newest edition of the Weakest Link. No, still nothing. Only Murders in the Building. Great show. You should watch it. All right.
Wreck-It Ralph. She's from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, she is in 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she is.
Wow. And then this last one is kind of a sleeper. Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Fleabag.
Is that the protagonist? Like the lady?
Yeah.
The hot on the priest? Okay.
Yeah, she's also in the newest Indiana Jones movie.
Nice. Yeah, sleeper. But I've seen her.
Well, yeah. So basically, no one of note has ever been born on your birthday. So
I'm that unique.
Sucks to be you.
I'm that unique.
All right. So let's get into this questionnaire. I feel like you were trolling me with some of these.
Really? I was being as truthful as I could be.
Maybe it's because I rushed him a little bit. I was like, maybe I should just send it back to him so he can like
give me a real answer.
Yeah. Because like some of these you did give an answer for, and other ones were just like really contrarian. So
I feel before we go into that, because in terms of movies, I do like movies. I watch them as much as I can. I didn't have that many options as a younger lad, right? Due to just the availability of it, or just monetarily didn't have the luxury to spend on certain things at a younger age. But so I don't know. I just feel like when you ask me questions like "What's my favorite movie?" I really can't think of anything.
Well, you had a favorite movie. It's some other ones that we'll
struggle,
get into.
but like I was like, okay, I don't know if I call it favorite, but it's a movie that I think about.
Well, what do you consider a favorite movie in your eyes? Because I feel like a lot of people maybe have a different definition for what they maybe consider their favorite movie.
I don't think I have any. Like for me, it just gotta be something that I really like and I can rewatch, regardless of how many times I've seen it. Even though I know every plot thread, every twist and turn, still an enjoyable experience. Nonetheless, just watching it play out, it would be what I would consider favorite, but I can't think of the one, if that makes sense. There's a few of them that I can think, I like these set of movies that I would just play and enjoy regardless whether I've seen it or not. But do I have the one that I think, this one's better than this last one because of this? I can't quantify it. I know it's kind of maybe a cop-out answer, but I generally cannot think of one.
And this is what we're here for. There's different experiences with everything, like the movie community can be a little snobby sometimes, and you got to have this, you got to have that, but
right.
We're here to show the spectrum, if you will, of different movie lovers and what they consider to be their favorites, what their definition of a favorite movie is, and just know that that's acceptable. Right. And your favorite movie is actually American Gangster, so because you've seen it so many times, right?
So many times. You have no clue. Every time I watch that scene,
you can probably quote it, right?
Every time I see that scene with young Denzel, younger Denzel, threatening Idris Elba on the street, and he's like, "You gonna do this right here for everybody?" And then he shoots.
I just feel like you've seen that on Twitter, and that's like the only bit of knowledge you have on it.
That's the only piece of information I'm willing to share because I know everybody else has seen it, so it's not spoiling.
I've never seen it.
And that's really sad, to be honest, because it's her dad's favorite movie. So maybe we should get on that. We should actually get it on.
We should have a watch party.
We should have a watch party.
That way, Jen and I can rewatch it, and then she can watch it for the first time.
You're gonna be blown away by this movie, to be honest. Okay, so
I was.
All right, man. Okay. So you said your favorite childhood movies were Balto, Dinosaurs, and The Brave Little Toaster. And I did some, and I've never seen any of these movies, to be honest with you. These are none of the childhood movies I grew up with, so I have no context. But I thought that the Brave Little Toaster, the Brave Little Toaster was interesting because it came out in like 1988.
Yeah, my dad used to have a few VHS tapes, just randomly. So he obviously would give me the ones that I could watch.
Yeah.
And that was one of them.
I always wanted to watch Balto.
Balto's. I know, like, if apparently, like, it took me years to realize a lot of people actually thought the movie was not great. But I don't know. There's something about it that I really enjoy. I know these movies were in English. I didn't speak a lick of that language.
I thought
I
was
just
the only one that remembered Balto.
I
love Balto.
I love Balto, and then just the whole story about it. Like the bad guy, the bad dog, just looks so creepy, and I love the goose and the two polar bears. They were so, I don't know. There's just something about it, and the style of it, and the performances too. Like I love the bear, the bigger bear, just kind of like sounding like wimpy, like he's always wimping. I don't know. There's something about it that I enjoyed it, but I haven't rewatched it, so I don't really know what the actual plot is, I'm afraid to do so.
To ruin it.
And to ruin it, yeah.
I know the gist is to get that little girl the medicine.
Right, that's it.
That's
like I could understand from the context clues, right? Like it was just
like penicillin.
And that's maybe the sign of a really good movie, that like, you know, you can't speak the language that it's in, and yet you still understand the plot. That's I mean, even for a children's movie, I feel like that would kind of be hard to do. So like, that's really cool that it can cross those barriers.
Kevin Bacon was Balto.
Yeah, he was Balto.
Kevin Bacon, huh?
And Phil Collins was in there too, apparently.
Phil Collins?
Yeah, he plays Luke Mook. I don't remember who that is, but yeah.
I don't know any of the names, only Balto.
I love Phil Collins. He's a great artist. So then we move to your favorite movie, and you chose Terminator 2 and Arrival. And I thought this was kind of interesting because some of the movies that I was suggesting for Sav on our last episode were James Cameron movies. She said she liked Titanic and you like Terminator 2. And then Arrival, which I've seen only once, but what a fantastic movie. Dennis Villanueva. Man.
Villanueva?
Is it a Villanueva?
It's like a French Villeneuve, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
He's French?
I think it's French Canadian or French. I don't know.
I'm just going to call him Dennis. Sorry. Dennis V.
It's actually Denis, if I recall.
Oh, Denis.
But, you know.
I'm sorry. I mean,
I'll call him Dennis.
Yeah. It says Dennis. Looks like Dennis to me. I'm sorry. Because the reason why I'm so sorry is because this man directed Dune.
Yeah. That's why I was excited for Dune.
Our deepest apologies, sir. We will be in theater for Dune 2. So, yeah. What do you like about Arrival?
I enjoyed the different aspect that it took to a alien film. Right, like it typically is an alien. They make this big bombastic entry, and then war ensues, and then you get Will Smith, you know, saying a cool line and blowing them up, right? And that's still fun. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's great, but I had not seen a movie like this, and just the whole concept of, again, similar to Inception, that they explain the context pretty well, and they put an idea forward that technically has been known of how to decipher a language that you don't speak, nor do you have the basis of it, right? That's what, you know, a lot of ancient language studies, you know, do to this day with like ancient languages, right? So there is a real basis of people that exist that do try to decipher what an ancient lost language, you know,
right,
would actually say, what it means. So they put these people in a situation, fantastical situation, where aliens arrive, and they have to.
Hence the title.
Yeah, and then Arrival. Thank you. They just park somewhere. They didn't do anything, and they have to figure out what they're trying to do there. And just the concept of, it's not the aliens doing something that's making people freak out. It's the fact that they're not doing anything that's making people freak out. That generally is, The classic cliche fear of the unknown, and how it wasn't even about whatever big plot thread of the universe, which it is hidden at the end of the movie, but it's mostly about humanity, how we kind of become our own enemies just through misunderstandings, even though we can speak and understand each other.
Very paranoid.
Right, still. To the point that people take radical action, like in the movie, they blow one of the ships that they were actually working towards, like almost getting to the point, like understanding what they're trying to do there.
Yeah, and
just a misunderstanding, a mistranslation, what has happened, which has caused conflicts in real life, caused a bigger conflict here. And again, there was a touchstone of like the whole conspiracy theory to like it's happening in the background that just keeps happening. Like I did have personal experience with like my mom's ex-husband that fell into the QAnon stuff, and he fell hard. So like kind of stuff like that is like, oh yeah, I believe that somebody getting so in their own echo chamber to the point that they believe X thing that they're going to take a radical action. I was like, okay, it just everything put together, and both actors, Amy Adams and what's Hawkeye's name? Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
I think they did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't through the whole subplot of it, or maybe probably the main plot of, at the twist of Amy Adams' character, like experiencing, like again, the whole point. We keep seeing scenes of her and her daughter, right, through the whole movie, and you find out later on that that's it, normally you think, oh, that's a flashback, right? That something happened, she's remembering something, and that's what she's heard. But because of the way the alien language works, that's how you kind of also format your brain. You're experiencing time differently. So she's not seeing flashbacks of the past, I guess forward flashes of the future of what's going to happen later, and is still making a decision to, despite all the pain that you will deal with, the reward, the happiness is still a trade-off worth taking.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know, just it I'm sure it, like film critics, like film study people are like, know better movies than that, but I feel like for general public, high budget movie was well executed, well directed. Just everything just kind of clicked in place, the things that I do enjoy. And
that's you bring up another good point, is that like, when you see interviews of celebrities and professionals within the movie sphere, and they kind of explain what their favorite movies are, and they're these foreign films or films you've never heard of,
right?
That can be intimidating, and it's like, sure, people who do this for a living could pick better films, but this isn't about movie critics and what the general populace at large feels is a better movie or feels isn't a better movie. This is about what regular everyday folks feel is their favorite or feels that gets them going. You know what I mean? Like, and that movie, and you explained it perfectly. Like that movie is, I've only seen it once, but I was still left in I was left almost like shocked almost, because like, you're right, like you wouldn't have seen that flash forward coming, and then this is a different type of alien movie that isn't just about, oh, they're trying to invade us, or oh, they're here to take over or something like that. It's like you really gave these aliens a sense of humanity, and like they're not like what it almost puts that alien genre on its head. It's like, well, what if they were here to just bring peace,
right?
Like, and
we're the warring ones,
exactly. And then it's executed on such a good level to where it's not cheesy or like some comedy movie. It's got real heart to it.
It's sincere.
Yeah, very sincere. So then I asked you, of course, the worst movie you've ever seen, or what's your worst movie? You had no answer, and I'm sure you have a reason why. So let's get into that.
So I think that's where this like the legit snobby bits come. As I do try to avoid. like movies like that. If there's a movie that I'm like bored by, I just turn it off. And I'm like, I'm not even going to entertain the idea of being mad about it or angry about it. I'm just going to delete from my brain, and it's gone. Like I don't.
So have you ever walked out of a theater?
No.
Me either. I thought just because of what you said that you might be the type to like have gone seen a movie and said, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
Well, let me backtrack. I have walked out of a theater, but not due to a movie, due to outside
Explosive diarrhea.
circumstances. I wish it was, because that would have been cheap.
Oh my goodness. So I mean I get that. But has there maybe been I guess that wouldn't really be the worst movie, but more of a disappointing movie, maybe something that you went in with high hopes on, and maybe it just didn't live up to your high.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, maybe they do have one. It is, I think it's Transformers 3.
Hey man, listen,
that's the one where they break
I think
up
they're in Chicago, right?
Chicago, right?
Yeah. I don't get the Michael Bay Transformers. I don't get the hype at all.
The first one's really fun.
It's you know what, we tried to we've been trying to rewatch the series of Transformers movies, and maybe we can find that on DVD so we can watch those. But we looked at the we were trying to watch the first one. I was like, damn, this movie's so long. Like, get to it, please. And I think the biggest thing for me is just that I could never figure out who was the good or the bad guy, or what the plot even was. At least for me.
I don't know. Maybe the guys are called Decepticons.
Yeah, but like it's confused. They don't have the Decepticon logo on them.
I mean,
time,
yeah,
you know. So it's I'm saying from visually,
yes.
it's hard to understand who's on whose side.
Just Bumblebee and Optimus are the only ones who have color to them.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, if it's not Optimus, and then if I understand this right, Optimus died like 6 times, like he's Goku. Am I not?
He's Jesus and Goku. Yes,
he died so much. I don't know. And then I saw the most recent one.
Oh my goodness!
I haven't seen it.
It started so good, and then it just took a dive.
It just tanked.
They're trying to work in the G.I. Joe franchise
heard.
into that. It's just I'm not a fan. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, those movies are. That's why I said just the first one's fun. Like, and you're right. You can't really tell, like, that mesh of just metal, just like wrapping around each other. But when it's like humans or even just something clearly visible like Optimus, I think it's fun. Like, especially the opening scene with the helicopter attacks, or like the whole scorpion scene in the desert. That was crazy. I'm like, whoa, what's that? This is really good.
Is that the second one?
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just think I think another thing is that the fighting scenes between the Transformers was because like they made it seem like gory, like almost like because like he's like yeah. I'm just like, what is that? I mean I get why they would have fluids, but it just doesn't hit on any real level because it's like well, I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't know why I can do this with some movies and not with others, but like for some movies, if the action is great, I can turn my brain off and just not think about that.
True.
I'm just watching Optimus race down a freeway, transform mid-fight, and then like run into this like construction thing and then just fall a bunch of bridges, and then just beat the crap out of each other. Like, that's crazy.
That's how I feel about Godzilla. The new the latest Godzilla movie, not -1, because that's not really that kind of action movie, but like King of Monsters and then Godzilla versus Kong. Like when you hear Godzilla just like rev up, just like vroom, 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 you're like, oh my goodness.
Funny enough, I recently rewatched the whole series, except the first one because it's a little too slow. But I did enjoy the first one, 2014 one rather, in preparation for this new one coming up. For New Empire. But yeah, I don't know. For some movies, I can certainly turn my brain off and not think about it. And just, again, as long as it's visually stimulating, I guess, if I can just let my brain just be on its own. But there are some movies where it's just like the action scenes are not entertaining, or they're kind of like whatever. Yeah. The dialogue is not entertaining, and it's just boring. And those, I think that those are like the movies. But I think with Transformers, not because, like I said, originally I didn't put anything, but if I think of Transformers, I do recall actually not walking out of the theater before the movie ended, but
visibly upset.
But I was annoyed that I wasted 3 hours of my life. I was really annoyed. I was like, what did we just do?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of actions, and some action was good, but it was so much action. It's like I'm
overloaded.
I'm drained.
that happened to a few movies that we saw last year, like the Meg 2 and
Expendables.
Oh man, Expendables 4. Garbage.
I only watched the first one and I was like, I'm not watching anymore.
I should. We were just seeing it for the hell of it, to be honest. But just like something about Jason Statham in action movies, I just can't get with it.
Yeah, there's something about it. Like when he's not talking, I think it's not bad. But anything between that, he's driving, looking at the camera. Anytime he's not kicking something, it's boring.
Yeah, it's really boring. All right, so then. So I took it. I tried to take into with the movie that I picked for you. I did try to take into some things to account, and the favorite genre category was where I really leaned on to choose the movie that I chose for you, which is thrillers and action.
Right.
I thought that this or we'll get there obviously, but
we will.
Any thrillers come to mind when you think about thrillers in action?
I think Inception pretty much just perfectly fits in that category. It's a thriller, it's action, but pretty much anything that Christopher Nolan makes. Like for me, I'm partial to, and this is like the snobby part of me. I'm more I prefer, like I actually really enjoy Memento. Just that, again, another concept of going back in time and then just like building the story as you go. And that's more a thriller than an action, but I really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen that movie since I was a child. So I don't want to say a child, but like 13 maybe. So I'll have to go back to rewatch it, but like I remember seeing it going like, I don't get it. So I just never went back to it. I'm almost intimidated to watch it again.
I think you should. It's really fun once you, and I think rewatching it helps.
Yeah.
Because you kind of, things start clicking a little bit better. Because at first it's like jarring. It's like, what?
Yeah.
And then you watch it again and then you're like, okay, I see where the things like piece together, right? Another movie I think that counts that is The Usual Suspects, 7.
Oh yeah,
those two movies are great.
See, and I think I fall more to the, when I think thrillers, there's like two things that need to happen in the thriller. It needs to have action, but then it also needs to be slightly scary. Mm-hmm. At least that's what I think about when I think of thrillers. And so I think about like The Panic Room, Usual Suspects, like something got a little mystery to it, like maybe a quick twist. Too. Yeah. So then you also put your least favorite genre as musicals. I was very tempted to give you a few, because maybe like Moulin Rouge or Les Miserables, which I haven't seen, but then French I'd have to watch it too. So that's why I didn't choose that. So. And this is where I thought you were being a little snarky.
Really? Okay.
Hold on. So I asked you, why do you like movies? You said, why not? I'm looking for a deep and profound answer, and he just gives me like a chess counter move. I wasn't sure.
I for me, and again, I just don't have, similar to what I said about not having favorites. I just don't feel, at least at this time, I have a super intricate relationship with movies. Mostly because I didn't really grow up with them, right? Like I didn't have a whole lot of choices back growing up. Most of my childhood was just literally playing outside, right? Just being in the neighborhood. Or
can you guys tell that he's old?
Or no, I was poor. There's a difference. But having consoles from like 3-4 generations, behind that, I would be gifted from my from family members, and that's really was what I had. It may be TV shows, but like movies were kind of a luxury, and it's not until like I became an adult, 18, and was working, that I was constantly watching more movies. So I just feel like I had a deep relationship with them. So I can't really pretend that give you like a deep answer as to why I watch movies other than to be entertained.
This is very Confucius. I was like, this guy's got to be trolling me because he trolls me a lot, obviously.
I do.
So like, I just
And it's fair.
yeah.
That's
I was like, why would he put why not? Just like he's like, why so serious?
I could have given you like a better dense version of that.
No, it's fine.
Certain,
I just thought it was funny.
There isn't really at least any like connections. Like again, there's still movies that I think singular movies that I can connect deeply to.
Mm-hmm.
But as a whole, to say I do this because of that, and there really isn't anything deeper. Just I want to be entertained. I want to watch some fun stories, and the thing with movies, I think, versus how I can get hooked on a TV show is that it's quick.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes the movie's like 2 hours, 3 hours, hopefully not, and then you're done. Right. Versus like a TV series that can span multiple seasons.
And that's what's kind of funny because when I first met Jack, she didn't like movies. And she was like, I like watching TV shows. I'm like, but like you realize the amount of time you binge to watch a Netflix series is like double, triple
yeah.
the time that you would do to watch a movie. I just didn't understand it.
I relate to Ron though with like we only really had the movies that were in the house to watch. There was no streaming.
No, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
like, and like HBO Max and Showtime, that was like elite. Like if we had that for like a couple months at a time. So
right.
I watched a lot of TV while it was ever free on the cable.
Yeah. So I got 2 new questions for you that I didn't actually ask you on the questionnaire that I think would be fun to do.
Ambush interview. Well.
Ambush. I wouldn't. Maybe. What movie character would you like to hang out with in real life if you had to choose?
Oh, yeah, totally. Tyler Durden, bro. He's so cool. I want to be just like him.
Really?
No.
I was like, yeah, I'm like that kind of fits. You're a chaotic man.
Wow. Okay.
You want to disrupt the establishment.
Hold on. But hold on. That's more of like a creepy libertarian type of guy. I'm not that.
I mean, I'm just saying you like the chaotic energy. You wouldn't like all of it, but you'd agree with some stuff. Obviously, you disagree with some stuff. Kind of like a Dr. Umar in a way, right? Like you think some of it. You like, man, this guy spitting facts, but then you go, hold on.
No. I never thought that man spitting facts. I was like, what is that man spitting?
Okay.
No. A real answer. No, Tyler Durden. I just made it because there's a lot of like cringe lords out there who just like don't understand the message of the character. Similar to Bateman from Psycho. It's like, I want to be just like him. It's like, bro, he's a bad guy.
Right. Like people want to be the Punisher and stuff like
Wolf
that.
Of Wall Street, the same with like whatever his name is.
Well, this guy was ripping people off.
He was the bad guy, right?
Well, yeah, but look at the woman.
Yeah, pretty much. No, a character that I would like to hang out with. I barely remember characters.
Okay, well, I mean, if you don't remember any, then maybe you just don't have an answer. I just thought it might be something interesting to think about. If you just had one off the top of your head, maybe like a Ana de Armas or like
okay, now you're
Blade Runner or something like that.
He said, "Hold on a minute."
No,
now you're speaking my
language. Where is this going? Like,
no, it's not going anywhere. I just like, for me, it would be Captain America for sure. I would love to hang out with Steve Rogers. Maybe he takes me on like a ride along or something like that.
On the back of his bike?
Not the bike. Not the bike.
He'll say you can't sit there.
Yeah.
He's definitely not letting that.
No, he's not. Captain America is not a racist. Okay. Yes, he grew up in a racist time, but so did Frank Sinatra. He's not a racist. Think about it. Perfect timing. I love that.
Okay. So if you put it that way, I don't. I mean, the only characters right now, like from the MCU, I think probably just hanging out with like a Peter Parker.
Boo. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I guess.
I mean, that you throw that like on me, like.
Would you like? Because I don't think Captain America's identity is a secret, at least in the MCU. Would you be like, you're Spider-Man, huh? Like, would you?
I mean, that's what I said Peter Parker. not Spider-Man. It doesn't have to be. I don't have to know that was Spider-Man. Right?
Wow, you're interested in the man himself and not the superhero.
I want to see under the mask.
Wow.
You know, that suit.
You're an interesting guy, Rod. That's why I invited you on. So, my next question, actually I'll say that till after we get through the movie I chose. So, the movie I decided to choose for you, drum roll please. It's Identity, 2004, directed by James Mangold.
I was surprised by this.
Ooh. How surprised?
I was like, he made Logan?
Yes. And this is what I didn't know until I looked it up myself. So James Mangold directed Logan. You haven't seen it. Great movie. It's basically never mind. It's a good movie.
I know the gist.
Yeah. Ford versus Ferrari. Excellent movie.
Gotta watch that movie.
Walk the Line is a biopic about Johnny Cash. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. 3:10 to Yuma, another one of my family's favorite movies. Night and Day, another one of my family's favorite movies. Shout outs to moms. She loves Tom Cruise, so that's her movie. And Girl Interrupted, Angelina Jolie. This man's he's got hits. He's got hits. So
Which made this movie more puzzling.
Okay, so tell us what you thought. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it?
Conflicted. I felt like at some points it just got schlocky, I guess, and just like what's happening here? Like, how do we get all these? How does all this thing? Every single thing keeps happening, and I was like, I can only this suspends my disbelief so much. Like, you just kept asking me at the beginning, like, oh, this happened, no, this happened, no, this happened, and I'm like, okay, bro, you gotta stop. At some point, I'm not gonna believe that you had all these idiots here in the same place, and they're all somehow stuck. And then of course, things happen, the plot develops, and then I'm like, oh, we're going this way. Okay, now I can kind of forgive some of the stuff that happened before. And then they immediately changed it to something else, and then it became kind of
dumb,
silly. And I'm like, no, you're not doing this. And then I started like my brain started racing, and I'm like, okay, who's the whodunit? And I'm like, it can't be that guy. It's too obvious.
Did you guess who it was? Did you guess correctly?
Well, kind of, and not really. But what happened? How much can we speak of this?
Hey, listen. Okay. So yeah, you're right. So this movie was released in 2004, so we're definitely going to spoil the hell out of it. Just to give a quick premise on what this story is about. There's like 10 people. They're stuck in a motel in the middle of like the Nevada desert. There's a storm that happens to where they can't get out, and at the same time, there's this serial killer who's also standing trial for murders that happened at a motel. And there's a psychiatrist that he's been working with that is trying to basically get the insanity plea from the judge. So both of these things are kind of happen simultaneously. And while that guy, the serial killer, is on trial, you start to see that these people that are stuck in this motel get killed off one by one.
Right, and the thing is that you don't see the killer, and like there's a thing where one of the people that gets stuck is like a convict or a prisoner. Yeah.
And
so you think that's the guy that they're talking about. So it's a good setup in certain aspect, but there's certain things where I just don't know. Like the first note that I took is too many people doing dumb things.
Yes. Agreed. The one plot point that I think is so dumb in this movie, but I think it's still a fun watch, is when Jenny and Jenny and her husband Louis, they go back to their room. So essentially, a murder has happened. So they all get into one room so they can keep a watchful eye on everybody. And then Jenny gets mad at her husband, and they storm back to their hotel room or their motel room. And Jenny's saying, "Oh, I'm not pregnant. That was a lie."
Yeah, that's like a weird subplot.
And I was like, "You're trash, Jenny, for that." But then the second point was Louis outside the door, which Jenny has locked. Jenny has locked herself in the bathroom, and Jenny and Louis outside, and you hear, "Hey, what are you doing in here?"
Right.
What is that? And then you hear nothing, and then he goes, "Jenny, open the door." Why not just say
in the same tone as he was yelling to her earlier?
Yeah. It's just it was that plot point really annoyed me because it's just like, why did you just say like, "Hey, there's a little someone's trying to kill me. Open the door."
That's basically, I can sum it down to too many contrivances.
Mm-hmm.
It's like too many at once. Like I can let some of those fly by, just think whatever. Let's just keep going. But then so many of them keep happening and happening. It's like, what's going on here? Like what like this is kind of stupid. But then, of course, I mean, we should probably go a bit more on order. But like, just the characters, right? Like there's a few characters. There's the first ones you get introduced to is the couple with the little kid.
Yeah.
Who somehow doesn't speak. And that was one of the first things that immediately happens is like, and that's, so I do gotta say this. I will keep going, right? So she gets hit because she was like interacting with the kid in the car, and now she's hurt, and the guy who hit her is actually trying to help the woman he hit. So that's why they end up in the
motel.
The motel, and then later on, I'm skipping a few scenes here, but later on, a similar situation happens where the kid, there's been happening where, and the kid just walks outside, and his dad goes out to try to help him, and then he dies. And one of my notes literally goes, "This dumb kid got 2 people killed / hurt," and that will come up later as we continue. But once I see that, back to the scene at the beginning where like the dude hits the wife. They get to the hotel, and one thing that happens is like, again, why are people being so stupid? There's this girl who's riding a convertible. It's clear that it's gonna rain, and she never closes. She never puts her roof back on.
I think it's broken, right? Maybe
They never explain it. I
feel like it was broken. Yeah, maybe
it's broken, but like they never really say anything about it. I'm like, okay, what?
I thought that I know we're jumping around a lot, but like I think the first death was kind of weird a little bit. Not because how she died, but how the body was found, and how like John Cusack, who plays like basically a limo driver, ex-cop, was just like he wasn't surprised enough for me. He was just like, "Oh fuck." Like he didn't like jump back and go like, "Oh my god, a dead body."
No, he just went, "Damn."
You're like, "That's crazy." Like
that's wild.
So we touched on a few of the deaths. Which death was the wildest to you? Because I have one in mind, but I just want to know which one of these deaths was just like, come on, like really?
Okay, come on. It's definitely the convict when they kill him.
Oh, see, I didn't choose that.
But the one, to me, the one that was funny was the dad when he gets hit by a truck, and it was funnier. And I'm sorry that we're jumping around, but like the fact that it's like they gotta check at some point. At some point, they realize there's a consistency, so they gotta go check the body of the dad. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny to me that they had to back the car away out of the dump truck, out of the dumpster to get to him. It's like, you left him there?
What were they supposed to do? It's evidence.
No, I know. What I'm saying is like they left him like
rammed
like that,
into
like ram into the thing. Like you're gonna think, well, it's kind of messed up, so we're gonna.
I think it was just because of what was happening at the time, because like they saw he got hit and then
no, there was time. There was time in between.
Yeah, there was time.
They took that they went back to him because of they realized like something was happening.
Yeah.
But then in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he's like, there's 2 cops in here who know how to handle a body, especially in the rain. You don't want it to be in the rain, so evidence. Right? There's a lot of things that would make sense why they would do something with the body.
Mm-hmm.
No, they just back the car away. You hear his body thump on the ground, and it's like, yeah, we found the thing. It's like, you just left the man there,
Right? Like,
but there's just weird like things like that. But one of, like I was mentioning, one of the characters is like introduced as like some sort of courtesan, escort.
Amanda Pete.
Yeah, Paris is her name.
She's from the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and then one of the another character is like the actual clerk of the motel that they're all staying at, and it's like weird jump in logic with the clerk. Just immediately starts calling her a whore. I'm like,
I did the same thing.
I'm like, what's going on?
I said,
you barely seen the woman.
Right. I'm like, how do you just assume this woman is a prostitute? And then they go to his trailer, and he's got like magazines.
Of porn stars.
A porn star talking about some whore slut.
And like they're obviously setting him up for something. I'm like, okay, I see.
It's a weird plot point. It's a weird plot point.
It's like, what are you doing that for?
He asks John Cusack, is she a prostitute? And then he doesn't answer. He doesn't answer him. And then throughout the entire movie, just assumes that she's a prostitute.
That's a consistent thing. Just like for some reason, that's his thing. And it's like, okay. I mean, one, she's just a pretty woman. She's not like dressing any crazy way. She's just like a woman.
Yeah. He must know somehow. Like he must have had her as a suitor or something once upon a time.
I don't know, but yeah. And I can't remember what this is from, but I just put something in quotes that like threw me off. I think it was the girl that was faking being pregnant.
Yeah.
And she just goes, "Did you feel that?"
Yeah. Cold. Yeah. See, and that's what kind of gives it this eerie feeling almost, because I've watched this movie like 10 times, but like I think that was like the one thing to say that something's going on almost in a way, because it's like, and we'll get there obviously, because like
let's just go through the plot as it goes. But yeah, there's like a hint of like maybe something
like a spirit
is going to happen.
Yeah, because they did say that too. It was on a Native American burial ground, so they think that it might be, or Ginny at least thought there might be spirits. Ray Liotta, who played the other cop, didn't obviously think that, but to answer the
one of my notes here before because like one of my notes just goes, not another burial ground.
What do you mean another burial ground?
Like Silent Hills, based on that. I forgot there's another movie that it's just like, oh, it's because we're in a burial ground. It's like it's just like it's kind of like a cliche almost.
I think they did a really good job of maybe just pointing you into a lot of different directions.
They tried to misdirect, and the thing is, I think with this one's one of my criticisms of it, like I felt like they were too obvious. It's like they were trying to say, oh, look at this instead, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. Right. So the whole time I just kept questioning things, but yeah, she just said something like that, and then I just put too many contrivances at once. Again, just everybody just somehow ends up being there.
I thought the funniest death was the car explosion. To be honest, like.
They took it up to 11.
Right. It's the funniest once you realize who the killer is and what's actually happening. So let's get into a bit of that. So basically what's happening is everybody's dying off one by one. Right. And as they're dying, they're seeing these like room keys with the bodies. So like the first person that died had the number 10 with them, and then 9, 8, 7. It's like a countdown sort of. Right. And so basically what's happening is that the serial killer who's on trial is actually being diagnosed with like multiple personality syndrome. And all of these people who are dying are taking place within his mind. So the medicine that Alfred Molina gave him essentially tells his consciousness or his consciences to confront themselves, and then they all start dying one by one
and figure out who the actual killer is. So
Yeah.
it basically it's like a meta into like it's a dream within a dream.
Yeah, it's Inception via 2004, I guess.
Right, and I think, and before we move on to, but yeah, that's basically what happens. But I think that's what kind of killed it for me, because I actually started kind of like enjoying it once the supernatural elements were in there. Mostly because like, okay, you're gonna stop pretending to be this thing. Is introducing this element of like something's killing them one by one, and now it. At first you thought it was the convict that they brought along,
Yeah.
right? Because he escapes somewhere in the first half of the movie, and so you think, oh, he's the killer. Until
Gary
you see,
Busey's brother, by the way, if anybody know who
it looks like
Gary
him. and like, and the kind of things gets thrown off because he tries to escape from the hotel and finds another like sets of houses in the distance that
it's the
somehow
motel again?
ended up in the motel again. And I'm like, okay, kind of shocked, but at least it's like, okay,
Twilight Zone or
I see
something.
where you're going with it. Like I am enjoying it. Let's just do supernatural stuff. Okay, cool. The concept is kind of fun now. And that's when later on you discover, yes, that this actually, no, it's not a supernatural stuff. It's just some dude like fighting with himself. And again, there's some details to this that kind of bother me about it. It's like basically having two his own characters kind of like flirt with each other. It's like you're having your own personality, like kind of like want to fuck the other personality, and one of them actually was married to the other personality. It's just like, if I thought about it too much, it's like I'm not enjoying.
But
so,
I mean,
so
that kind of makes sense because I don't think that they don't all know about each other.
Right.
And I mean, I don't really know much about multiple personality syndrome or anything like that, but I mean, like if you see it in other movies like Split, they all know about each other. But in this movie, maybe they just don't know because like in the serial killer isn't even aware that he has multiple personalities. So I don't know.
True. Yeah, and that kind of, because there were some complaints that I had at the beginning. Was kind of, I guess, explained by this reveal, because at some point the Cusack character and then the hooker were just like really close.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we're like chummy with each other. It's like, you guys just met each other, and then like he's giving her instructions and she trusts him. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? But
I guess, I mean, yeah.
But I know, but once it was revealed that it was a personality, I was like, okay, I can kind of buy why this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I made a few notes here as well when we were going through. It's like, okay, now we know it's the convict is not the killer because he himself is killed.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's the supernatural thing that's killing them. Or at least they think it might be, or somebody else is the killer that's not the convict. Mm-hmm. So at first I'm like, is Cusack the killer? It's like, he's too good. And I'm like, maybe, and I'm like, is he the killer?
That'd be weird.
And then I put Liotta would be too obvious.
Yeah, Liotta would be way too obvious, especially when you find out that he's also a prisoner as well.
Yeah.
And then so I get that. So who were you expecting it to be?
Let's see. I thought it was Cusack, and then if not, it would be Liotta. But I'm like, that's too obvious. It just didn't make sense.
So then they so just to jump in further into the story. So it's about 4 of them left at this point. So it's Cusack, Liotta, the guy who's running the motel, and then Amanda Peet, who plays Paris. Right. So John. Essentially, John Cusack's character comes out during this trial, and the doctor, Alfred Molina, is speaking to John Cusack, telling him that he's a part of a multiple personality in here, and he basically tells him, hey, you got to go back in there and figure out who the killer is so we can get this guy as an innocent plea, or plead insanity, so he can just go off to be taken care of at a mental facility. Right,
and now we know that the killer is also not the killer.
John.
Personality has been taken care of, so that way we can assure the judge that that he will no longer be dangerous,
right?
So they can get him to the hospital.
So basically, at this point, Paris figures out that Ray Liotta is not who he says he is because there's a body in the back of the. She figures it out because the car was hotwired, and they show a back scene, and then Ray Liotta kills the hotel attendant, and so then it's basically just John Liotta and Amanda Peet. John basically tells Amanda, "Run, get out of here, look into my eyes, you gotta leave," and then basically a shootout happens and both of them die.
With Liotta, just before we move on, because with Liotta, the reason why I say it was too obvious because like so many hints about it, like when Cusack told him when they first found the first body, it's like Cusack's like, "No, what are you doing? You got to do it this way." And it's like, he's
that's
a cop.
odd. And then and he also had a bloodstained shirt.
Bloodstained shirt that happened. I'm like, that's interesting that something happened here. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're just hints around this. Like, I'm like,
he's like, "Can I see that? Can I use the mic?" He's like, "No."
Right.
He's like, "I'm gonna call out for help."
Yeah. There's just
weird.
so many things. I'm like, you're setting him up too hard.
Yeah, obviously.
Which obviously there is a reason why, right?
Yeah.
Continue.
So basically, it's made to believe that Paris makes it out. She's the only one alive. And also, as another subplot, she said that she was going to Florida to grow oranges. So, in this guy's mind, she's driving to Florida. She's buying this farm. She's picking up oranges, and then she starts to farm and stuff like that. She's digging out the gravel, and she's digging and digging. Then you hear this noise. Sounds like plastic. She digs it up, and she sees that there's
a number
one room key. Oh no, it's not over. And then you hear like he has a gardening tool, or somebody has a gardening tool in their hands. You hear it smacking their hands, and then she turns around and looks up, and it's the kid. The kid is the killer.
I was so angry at this revelation, and I'm like, okay, you serious? And a part of me was like, when he disappeared, like in the middle of like after his dad died, I'm like, it's be too stupid. I'm like, it's no way. It's like, so I even stopped thinking about it, and that's why I focus on Liotta or Cusack, and I'm like, it was the goddamn kid, and not only that, they're like, they could have been like a black screen and just ended it there. No, they decided to show you a montage of how he killed all these people, and he does the cool guys don't look at explosions. What?
I said, okay, it could be believable that he smothered his mother, right? It could be believable that maybe he's a genius and knew that the stepdad would run into the middle of the thing. How did he get the bat down the guy's throat, right?
Right.
And how does he suddenly know how to rig a car to explode? That's a little goofy, but all in all, after they show that montage, he goes. Oh, and this is also a very important plot point. The serial killer, his mother was a prostitute back in the day, and so I'm guessing that he has some repressed anger about that.
The whore, hating personality.
Yeah, and so the kid is looking down at her, and he goes, "Whores don't get second chances." And then kills her. That's what he says.
That's the movie.
And then pretty much after that,
that's the bad guy.
The serial killer kills the prison driver and the psychiatrist.
He becomes the only surviving personality. So yeah, he kills the transport and the medic, and now he's on the loose somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much. And roll credits. This is. To be honest, I didn't expect this to be an absolute love it, but I just love this movie so much, and rewatching it and just seeing the ridiculous walk-off explosion, and like even rewatching it now after having so many fond memories of it as a kid, it's just like, man, this movie is really, it's just like, I'm like, okay, why is he calling this lady a whore after just like meeting her for 2 minutes? It's just so many little things.
Hatred.
It's so many little things, but
now you get Barbie. Now you understand Barbie now a little more.
How so?
I always understood it.
I'm an ally. I support women.
I'm just playing with you. I do have one question about this because I didn't watch this, but
you did watch it. Not this time, but you've seen it.
Who does John C. McGinley play?
You got to show me a picture. I have no idea.
The dude from Scrubs.
Oh, he's the dad.
Oh, he's the dad. Yeah,
he plays the dad.
I love this guy.
Yeah, he plays the neurotic dad.
Remember what I said of the dude who would just gets left against a dumpster in between the and that's him. They just leave his body.
No.
The way he got hit was very cartoonish, to be honest. He's like, ugh. But anywho, so I didn't get to love it. You kind of conflicted. I'm gonna take this as a 2-0, and mostly because it sounded like you had some entertaining moments.
I did. There's some praise I even wrote down here, but yeah, I think the main conflict is it just didn't stick to an idea, and again, you could have twists, right? Like that's not just not sticking to an idea is not a bad thing, but I think in the way it did it, just too jarring and too sudden, and it happened too many times. Because at first it's like, okay, now it's just whodunit, and then it became a Indian burial grounds spirit killer, and then it became a multiple personality in your head thing, and then you have the potential killer Ray Liotta, or the potential killer the prisoner or Cusack, and then it's the kid at the end. It's like too many things at once. You're trying to make me.
I love the reveal montage at the end because it kind of reminds me of like Saw. It's just like
it was like so cartoonish, and the way the kid tried to make the evil face, but like he's just smiling.
Oh okay. All right. So yeah, it's just a fun movie. I hope everybody out there, we didn't spoil it too much for you, but please go watch it. We obviously just gave you the entire plot, but but just, if you don't, maybe you'll listen to this, forget about it, go watch it again and something like that.
Like me.
Yeah, just like Jackie. Be like Jackie. All right, so last 2 questions for you. What's the best movie you've never seen?
Best movie I've never seen.
Yeah, like what's a movie that people are just telling you like, oh, you haven't seen that? But whenever you hear about it, it's probably the best movie they say they've ever seen.
I don't think I have that many because that was a lot of my like recent like journey of watching movies. Like for a long time I was a Godfather. I already seen The Godfather.
Godfather's good.
Both movies. The
right.
2 movies, yeah.
Just the 2.
I've seen, most of what's his name? It's I'm blanking on the name. Who made it? Departed?
Oh, Martin Scorsese.
I've seen pretty much most of his movies, so I don't know if I have any big ones anymore that I can think of.
And that's why he's the movie snob. All right, and then the last question, which I will ask all of my guests, is: do you have a movie for me to watch?
Terminator 1 and 2.
I knew it. Well, I'm going to watch them. I'll add it to the queue. I was supposed to watch Sal's movie, but it was for rent, and I'm not going to pay that. So, I might. Maybe next episode.
What was it again?
It was Trick or Treat.
Oh yeah.
Or the I have it in my notes somewhere. It was the American something motherfucking Great job. My producer's on top of it. I love it.
I remember which movie now. Which one I haven't seen that I hear is great.
Okay.
There Will Be Blood. I've not seen that yet.
Daniel Day-Lewis. I haven't seen that either. Wow. I haven't seen a lot. I don't think I've seen a lot of Daniel Day-Lewis movies. I haven't seen Gangs of New York. I haven't seen Lincoln. Maybe we should get on a Daniel Day-Lewis train real quick.
Yeah, the only scenes I've seen from him is when he slaps Paul Dano.
Yeah.
And when he's like,
I drink your...
my
I was talking about the milkshake thing though.
Yeah, the milkshake.
Sorry if that was gross. All right. Well, Ron, thank you so much for coming. I know that
Thank you for having me.
that it's been quite an adventure.
I have fun.
This last week
times.
and it was a ton of fun. But like we can't control certain things. So anywho, but thank you for coming. This is the Movie Matchmaker podcast. I am your host, Jalen Williams. Jackie on the mic. Let's get a outro and a clap for my guy. We'll see you next time.
On the record.
On the record. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Movie Matchmaker podcast. Be sure to follow me on social media at My Name is Jalen on Instagram, spelled Jailon. You can also follow me on TikTok at Y2J, WHYTWOJAI. See you in the next one.